Hey, earlier this year, way back in April, late April, I had the pleasure of talking to David Ribich for an article that I was writing for my sports journalism class. We talked everything from his Hot Wings challenge to the Olympic postponement and to the team dynamic that they have going on over at the Brooks Beasts. And I really appreciate him taking that time to talk to me. We had a really good time. I know I had a really good time, and I hope he did too. But anyway, you can check that article out in the description below or by going to samteller.com/sports-journalism, and that'll take you to that website or to that article that I wrote. And other than that, enjoy this interview. Peace.
I'm coming in. There we go.
Hey David, how are you?
Good. How are you? Sorry, I just got done with a run and it was a downpour in Seattle, so I'm a little wet, but
That's okay. That's okay. I'm still kind of sweaty from mine, so don't worry about it.
Perfect. I'm glad. Well, it's a Zoom call, so luckily we can't smell each other then.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you cannot smell me. But it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, and thanks for doing this with me. Kind of just real quick, like I said, I went to UVA with Henry. I'm actually still in UVA. I'll be graduating this year, but yeah.
Nice.
So I'm doing this for a sports journalism class, and fortunately, I had him as a connect for a pro team to kind of talk to. So yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So this with the other two, with Allie and Henry, it only took like 15 minutes, so I shouldn't be taking too much of your time here. Although there's probably not a whole lot you're doing right now. I hope you're not super swamped, but yeah. So I guess if you're ready, I'll get into the first question here.
Yeah.
So I know you had qualified for the Olympic trials, and I know you would run 3:37, so you're trying to get to that A standard. What were your thoughts when they kind of called everything off, and then decided to move the trials, and then I guess competitions are postponed almost through the rest of this year?
Yeah, it was kind of a whirlwind of just like expectations, I guess you could say. Like I was anticipating running a 5K at the start of May, and like it's just right now it hasn't seemed so different. Like we're still kind of in like this building phase, and we're still doing workouts, and so at the time and even now it still kind of feels like a normal season's about to happen. But I know once May and June rolls around and there will be no trials, like that's when it'll really hit me of just how much there's nothing to do. And I was a little upset at the start with the trials being postponed, but I do think it's like the best thing that the world can really do is postpone the trials in the Olympic Games. My coach, Danny Mackey, Henry's coach now, his coach as well, him and I have been in a lot of discussion, and I was most likely going to do a 5K at the trials as long as I hit a qualifier. We were kind of building up to try to run an A standard in the 5K, which is like 13:13. And I've been just been able to handle a lot of aerobic work and a lot of great workouts. And I think the 3K indoor at USA's was kind of like an indicator that I had potential in that event. And so when I heard they were postponed, I immediately just thought, this is another year for me to continue to expand my aerobic capacity and continue like a lot of strong miles. So I wasn't too upset with it, because if I'm looking at it in a 5K approach, it's just more time for me to prepare, more time for me to get ready. And then in a 1500 standpoint, I was kind of bummed because that's just such an exciting event. And I felt like the second year of Danny's programming is really when people take off in terms of their specific event.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, you answered that next question. I was going to ask if that extra year might benefit you if you're focusing on the 5K. So I guess that's a good positive outlook on that. And then, so I talked about in the email about the spicy hot wings challenge that Ali talked about. She spoke very highly of that. She was very excited to tell me about that. And she kind of talked about it, well, obviously, she had the PRP injection. She's dealing with some injury stuff. So kind of a postponement benefits her in that way. But she's talked about, of course, how injuries still suck and everything, and how this kind of helped take her mind off of that. So I just want to hear from you, how did you come up with this hot wings challenge? We'll start with that question.
So you talked to her after she did it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was like everyone was starting to go live over Instagram. It seemed like every single night I would get on, I would see another professional track and field athlete live with another professional track and field athlete. and they were doing like Q&As. They're talking about just like life, and I liked them, but they kind of got repetitive and a bit boring. So I was like, what's a way that we could come in and do something outrageous? And I'm a big fan of like the Hot Wings Challenge. It's like the hot stuff, I think it was called, or Hot Ones. It's
Hot
like a
ones, yeah,
YouTube,
yeah, yeah. I'm
yeah, it's a
familiar.
YouTube
Yeah.
series. And so like I was just watching that. I watch it actually pretty religiously. Like if I'm trying to postpone a run or I need to burn some time on like YouTube, I just go watch some of those. I've watched people suffer on that, and I'm like, man, it can't be that hot. Like, what's going on? And so I ended up ordering the bomb hot sauce after I watched one episode, and I was like, okay, well, if I want this, I need to kind of build to it. So I just got like blazing hot sauce, and so my roommate and I tried the bomb hot sauce. I mean, like we dipped a toothpick and put it on a tortilla chip, and we are just like kind of sweating. We're like, oh my god, this is definitely man-made. This isn't natural. What the hell is in this thing? And then stupidly, I was like, all right, I need to, like, I want to do a Hot Ones challenge. Like, I want to answer questions. Like, I want to interview someone else. I was like, but I need someone to do it with. And I don't know why, but the first person I thought of was like, Alio would do this. Like, she would most definitely hop on board and go through some suffrage. And it was a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. Like, even though I tried the hot sauce, I was not prepared for like the pain, like of like the 48 hours to follow that. So I kind of just came up with it as like a way to entertain and a way to just like do something different. And luckily I had Allie to do it with, because I don't think it would have been as fun if it was just me suffering alone.
Yeah, she said she committed without even really thinking about what she was getting into. And she said you even tried to talk her out of it a little bit, but she said there was no going back for her.
So like because I was the one that's already tried the sauce, I was like, Allie, like, we're going to go through a three wing stage progress. Like I had it all mapped out, planned out. Like I baked the wings, I coated them. I put little like playing cards for like an ace, a 2, and a 3 for like which wing you start with. And I told her, I was like, Allie, like this third wing, the bomb hot sauce, I was like, it's really, really hot. Like we could just put like a quarter of the amount I was going to and mix it with barbecue sauce and just, you know, act like we're really suffering. And she's like, no, I want the full experience. So I'm like, well, okay. Like we did 4 tablespoons of the sauce. And so it was like covered. And originally I was like, Allie, we're only going to eat half of the wing. Like we just need to bite it. We don't need to go full blown. But then during the live feed, I was like, all right, Allie, you know the rules. We're just going to take one bite of this one. And then people in the comments were like, no, eat the whole thing. Like one bite, what the heck? And I'm just like, all right, well, I mean, we're kind of giving the people what they want. We might as well just send it. So then I impulsively ate the whole wing, and then Allie also ate the whole wing. And from there, like, that's when it was really, really bad. Like someone screenshotted the live, and like Allie was dying, and I started laughing while I was drinking milk, and I like came out my nose. And it's just like, there's no good beauty or glamour shots from that feed, but it was definitely one of like probably the more fun experiences I've had with like a teammate.
Oh, that's good. It sounded funny. I mean, she talked about, like waking up at like 3 a.m. and feeling bad. So
yeah. Well, she was on Josh Kerr, another teammate of ours, podcast this last week, and we talked about it a little bit. And I texted her at 3 a.m. and I was like, hey, you doing all right? Because I was like, I know for a fact, if I'm not able to sleep, like Allie can't sleep. And I didn't get a reply, but apparently she saw it and was like laughing. But I ended up throwing up at like 3:30 in the morning, because I was like, when I would lay down, I would like, it would feel like someone was just like twisting the inside of my stomach, kind of like when you twist a towel. And yeah, that's what I was experiencing. She said it was like heartburn. I'd never had heartburn before, but I'm assuming that's what it was. But every time I laid down, I would just like feel sick to my stomach. So I'd stand up, I'd walk around. I wasn't sure which end like my body was gonna expel anything from. So like I would literally sit on the toilet, then I'd walk downstairs to get a glass of water, and then I'd throw up. Like Allie said she won the challenge because she didn't throw up, but I threw up twice, and I'm like, well, I think so. But when I threw up and went to the bathroom, both ends of my body were just on fire. Like I didn't want to sit, I didn't want to drink anything. I just kind of like stood there in the darkness of my living room, and it was just like, I am in hell. Like this isn't so it's yeah. So I wouldn't ever do it again. I have no intentions of ever trying that sauce again. But I'm happy
That was
we
going to be my
did it at
next
least once.
question.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. You said it might not be glamorous, but you know, at least you did it. So, you know,
Yeah.
you got that. You can say that you put that on your resume for the rest of your life or something.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess just one more question. Like you talked about how right now it doesn't feel too much different. Just like, you know, I know it's probably been talked to death, quarantine, of course, but like, how are you managing that all right? And like Henry said that, you know, it's really not that much different than like your regular professional like kind of training schedule would be. But I don't know, doing all right with that.
Yeah. It's definitely a little bit more lonely. And so like my life, like Henry said, like our lives really haven't changed much. And I live with my girlfriend, and she works in the healthcare industry, and so she goes to work every single day. So like literally our lives are like pretty much exactly the same as before. We just don't really do any activities outside our home, and we don't eat out as much. So we're definitely saving money. But for training wise, I've been doing everything alone, but I think it's also given me an opportunity because I don't live with any of the guys. Like Henry lives with Brandon and Drew, so he has guys that he can work out with. But I live alone, so I've done everything alone. And surprisingly, I feel like I've become a little bit more of an introvert with my training. Like I've liked this ability to be in control of a workout, be in control of a run, and just know that if I really just popped off a workout, it's because of my own mental ability and my own physical strength. Like like on a long run this last Sunday, I don't mean to brag about it, but it was just like one of the most, I guess you could say, like turning long runs I've ever had, where I got done with that and was like, I have never been able to do that. And I like would not have done that had I been with a group. Like it was a really great time for me to kind of test where my fitness was. And like we had to rearrange some of the weeks. So like I did Friday's workout yesterday, and I'll do yesterday's workout on Friday. But it was still like a run where I left and just felt like I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I know I'm very strong right now. So yeah, I don't mind it. Our lives haven't really changed a whole lot, but like I said, I think when June and July roll around and there's nothing on the table, there'll be some soul searching on trying to figure out what does come next and like what we need to do to kind of keep it going until January of next year, especially with that Olympic window now closed due to the IOC's decision.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're finding some positives in this as well, but I also wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
I think that's all I've really got. I'll be talking to Danny tomorrow actually, so
Oh,
hopefully
cool.
that goes well. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I hope so. Yeah, you could ask him about my long run. I'm just kidding.
all right, I will. Yeah, I'll see what he has to say about it. But thanks so much, David, and have a good
Yeah.
rest of your day.
Awesome. Yeah, you too, man.